Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is your host Cal. Today I'm joined by my two co-hosts, X and Huey. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Glad to have you guys in once again. I thank you
Glad
guys
to
for
be
showing up. I know it's rough getting here at 5:30, especially with family, children. It's the holidays, so
There's a lot of stuff going on behind me right now.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Especially because you're hosting for the holidays, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I can only imagine with 4 kids plus family.
Pure chaos.
Yeah. And all right, let's get into our. Actually, I don't want to get into our main story just yet. I want to discuss live action movies and the Avatar: The Last Airbender. Did you guys watch that growing up?
Yeah.
I
loved it. Why?
Huey, did you watch it?
No.
You said no?
No.
Oh, you're not a big anime fan, are you either?
Not early. I mean, I got into it late, but some of the anime that I watch is like usually that you find on Adult Swim.
Oh,
like I'm not really like knee deep into the anime genre.
Okay. Anyway, they're doing a live action of Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is a Netflix series that they're going to do. And my thing is, I think they need to leave this stuff alone because there's nothing more to the story we need to know unless you were capitalizing on like a single character from the series and you felt like their story needed to be told. But just redoing the entire series over again just for live action just seems pointless to me, and it's so much room to mess up. Like, it's so much room to disappoint your fans. I will say though that the screenshots do look good. Costumes look great. Casting looks pretty good for the most part. But I just want to get you guys' thoughts on like, is this something that you guys like to see, or is it something that should be left alone for the most part?
I don't have a problem with it per se, and it does look way better than the one live action we've gotten so far. So
I'm about to say we don't talk
but
about that.
I think that's part of the reason why I don't have a problem with it is because of the really poor job that we've gotten prior to this.
Oh, okay, so you're saying that expectations are so low, then how much
Exactly.
worse can it get?
Right. If I had not had that prior like bomb of a movie,
Yeah.
honestly, I probably wouldn't be as interested in. I'm not like I kind of agree with you where the retelling of the story and just tossing live action in over and over again just really seems like cash grab kind of.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with it as long as they stick to the story, which is so hard for people sometimes. I don't understand, but
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like they want to put their own twist on something.
yes,
like,
no, I don't want your twist.
Yeah,
I want
exactly.
the same story.
Like we loved the original story for a reason. I don't like I said, I just wish they would do something different. Don't just, try to retell the story for a live action audience. But yeah, the guy that's the director, let me see, his name is Albert Kim, and he's done shows like Nikita, which got a 7, Sleepy Hollow, a 7, and his latest project before this was Pantheon, which is I think is a anime, I believe, but it got an 8.3. So he does a pretty good job as far as for his shows. But it'll be interesting to see what becomes of this one, and I'm interested in seeing what the audience thinks because this is a beloved show.
Right. I feel like one of the things that the live action movie really failed at was the combat. Like,
yes,
the airbending, all of that
absolutely.
there were a few scenes where I'll say they did a good job, but it's like they spent all the budget there because the rest was pretty poor.
Absolutely.
there was so
Oh,
much choreography for a little movement. Like everyone had to do a flip and different 17 twists and turns for like a little gust of
I
air
was like,
or a squirt of water. I'm
all those
like, can we?
earthbenders bending just to move one rock.
Yes, yes. That's see, and it moves so slow
Yeah.
across the screen. Oh gosh. And like
Somebody
the
shot that.
firebenders needed
He
a
just,
fire source to
yeah, that was
then.
stupid.
Yeah, I feel like if they can get the combat down, honestly, it would be good enough to watch. I feel like just for some good fight scenes.
Oh,
But
yeah,
um,
I agree.
stick to the story, keep the combat good, and we'll be fine. I think.
Yeah. Um, Another thing, just as a small thing from Marvel, is that Jonathan Majors got cut, because he was arrested on charges of strangulation, assault, and harassment. And for those of you who haven't been keeping up with Marvel after Endgame, Jonathan Majors was casted as Kang the Conqueror. But
Yeah, wasn't he supposed to be like their next big villain? Or
yeah, he was supposed to. And it sucks because he was an excellent actor. He was actually Ant-Man. That last Ant-Man movie was absolutely terrible, but Jonathan Majors was definitely like the best thing about that movie. Like every time he was on screen, like you could just sense how intimidating he was. But at the end of that movie, he just gets defeated by ants, which completely just derails his whole monologue about, conquering all these different types of worlds, and yet you get conquered by ants. Yeah, I don't believe that. Um, Absolutely took me out once I saw that scene. But yeah, I think because that storyline has been doing so poorly, they should just leave it alone. Like just completely go in the opposite direction. I know there's been talk of them moving towards Doctor Doom. Perfectly fine with, because I think Marvel needs to just, take some time and build up these characters again before you try to give us another Endgame. Because we don't care about these characters. I don't. You stopped watching after Endgame. Huey, I don't even
well,
know if you even watched.
well, to
No, I'm not
me,
into that. I'm not into the films. I'm not into the Ant-Man series.
Or Marvel in general, are you?
Um, some of the films. Yeah. Depends if I like the character or not. Like I'm more into DC, so.
Oh, okay.
I don't
X,
know.
what
I
were you
feel
gonna
like
say?
I was just gonna say it's hard to care about characters at this point because of the whole multiverse thing. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, I understand that. It was
To
just
me,
too
it's a
much.
it's a it's a one time thing that you can do that's really cool. Okay, look at this. You see multiple universes, but expanding that like it makes it insane. Like the death of characters doesn't matter anymore. There's a new version of that superhero on another universe. Like
Exactly.
it makes them meaningless. None of the deaths matter. Their stories don't matter because they just bring up a new one, different version of them somewhere else.
Like all the intense scenes, they don't matter because like what's
Yes,
the tension? Like you're not scared of this
exactly.
character dying, so what's the point?
And
Um,
it just loses the appeal when it's just like, oh, it's this character, but this,
yeah,
and this character, but now they're blonde. I don't know. It's
yeah. Marvel needs to get it together. I think the world itself is just tired of superhero movies at this point. We just need a
I
break.
don't necessarily think that's the problem. I think they're just tired of mediocre superhero movies.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
that's true because the Batman film was actually really good.
And like DC
yeah.
animated still pushes out good stuff all
Yeah,
the
that's
time.
true.
I don't understand how they
Yeah.
make such good stuff in comparison.
I wouldn't say. Yeah, I wouldn't say people. I mean, I understand that people are tired of superhero films, but I think the problem has been either some films not living up to hype, and also certain films that have been cancelled as well. That also doesn't happen as well.
Say that again, Huey.
I said, I don't think people are tired. I think they're tired because certain superhero films have been cancelled as well, and also other films not living up to its
Oh,
expectation.
okay. Yeah.
I
Um,
think between like mediocre story, weak villains, like when have we had a good villain since
I haven't
Thanos?
none. I haven't cared about a
Exactly.
single one.
Weak villains, and that's multiverse. It's just all of that added up together. I want a good villain, someone I'm afraid of,
Yeah, that you
like
know, just
with stakes to
yeah,
it. People
exactly.
die and they stay dead.
Yeah, because they set the tone. I remember in Infinity War where it started off with like the Incredible Hulk fighting Thanos, and then Thanos just getting like beating him effortlessly. Like you already set the tone for this guy already within like the first 5 minutes. Like he beats the Hulk, kills Loki. Like all of this happens within the first. Like okay, this is interesting. Like
Right.
now I'm invested because now what are the heroes going to do about this? Um,
And speaking of the tone, you got to balance the like this Marvel comedy sprinkling with
I'm
some
tired of
serious
it.
stuff. Exactly.
I'm tired of it.
It's too much.
I ain't lying.
Ever since the first movie that I saw where I had too much of it was Thor Ragnarok. I thought the movie was good, but there's parts in it where serious stuff happens and then someone jokes after it.
Yes, and cuts the
I
tension
hate it.
immediately.
It ruins it.
Yeah. And I don't. You didn't have the pleasure. If you thought that was too much, oh,
I'm not watching that. I'm not watching Love and Thunder. I'm not watching.
I'm so. I wish that we might just sit down and
Oh
just
my
watch it
god.
together because I know for a fact you're just going to be annoyed the whole movie. That's how bad it is.
You know what they remind me of? It reminds me of Kung Fu Panda movies. Because Kung Fu Panda can have some insane fight scenes, but then you got Jet Black just like passing gas after that or something.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what Marvel films remind me of now.
Oh yeah, you're not gonna like Love and Thunder at all then. But yeah, that's all I had for his,
All right.
just the smaller stories. But I wanted to get into the main thing. Is I was very interested in how the day before even ended up in our hands. Like I'm just tired of developers entering. I say developers loosely, but I'm not even sure it's completely their fault. I I was just really interested in where it came from, but I was just reading from Eurogamer, and apparently a developer said that no one from their team knew why it was called an MMO. It was always a third-person shooter with some co-op mechanics thrown in. And he said not, or they said not one RPG mechanic was implemented. Skills were an idea, and they were in the prototype stage, but there was nothing else. So they have no idea why MMO was even listed on Steam. Also, from the beginning, the servers would be under 100 people. No clans, raids, or like any closed hubs or nothing like that. And here's this thing again. It pops up every single time when we all. This reminds me of Anthem. We question how the heck does this game end up being so bad. There was little communication between the development team and the fantastic founders, who are brothers, and their names are Edward and Eisengotovstedt. Sounds Russian to me. I'm not completely sure. Jamie, you might want to look that up.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, those two brothers basically made every single gameplay and design decision, and basically threatened to fire anybody who disagreed. And the developer that they were talking to, who they got this information from, it's just a tone. Basically, said that the brothers thought that they knew better than the devs about what people wanted, and so a lot of the times it just resulted in a lot of ideas being removed, implemented, and then removed again. So it also, a lot of time has been wasted as well. What do you guys think about that? Because that's something that pops up every single time when it comes to development, or people having development issues. There's also a reason why I'm scared for Skull and Bones. I'm interested in seeing how that game does on release.
Just like wasted time.
Yeah, just bad communication between the development team and the founders. It's just always some, like, I don't understand if you're the founder and you want developers, which is their primary job, is to create something for the player. I don't understand why you think you would know more than the person making the game. I just don't
I
understand
mean,
that.
if you specifically hired them to do that and they knew beforehand, then they should just make your crappy game, whether it's good or not. But if as far as the miscommunication, I don't understand how that could even happen. Like you hire someone for a job, you tell them what you want them to do, and maybe they give you feedback. But if you veto that, I mean, if they don't want to do it, then they quit.
Yeah. And just also it creates, like, when you're threatening people like to fire just because they don't want to do what you want to do. Already you've set the tone in the building. I'm like, all right, well, this is
Yeah, that's
about
fine. Then
to
everyone knows the really crappy person. Don't take a job from them. I'm fine with that.
yeah.
Just they expose themselves as being bad leaders, and so be it.
Yeah. I was
But yeah,
also go
go
ahead.
ahead, go. No, you go.
I was saying I was interested in, like, the just where the origins were, and I went to Yahoo. Of all, I hardly ever go to this site, but anyway, a reporter, Aloysius Lowe, he decided he was just going to go and visit one of their studios in Singapore, and it was just located inside a retail space, and he spoke with the manager, and it was told that Fantastic only used the space as a virtual office, so there was no staff there at all. And he also looked up their original address on Google, and he just checked the building's like online directory, and there was no tenant there at all. And the original address belonged to a management consultancy, so they really didn't have everything they listed. There was no physical place where these developers were working. So I also wanted to know, like, where did the money come from? Do you guys know who, or even heard of? It's called Mytona.
No.
It's apparently it's one of the biggest. It's the largest mobile publisher in the world. And they're Russian, apparently. Actually, Huey, can you look that up? It's called Mytona, Mytona.
Okay.
Because I do want to know if I thought I read that they were Russian, but I just want to make sure.
Yeah, it was founded in Russia in 2012.
Yeah. So this is actually the publisher that made all of this happen. This is how they got most of their funding. The brothers themselves put up $50,000 each in capital. And also I want another thing is, like, Aloysius, the reporter I just mentioned earlier, he checked the Ministry of Manpower, which is basically just a government agency that, oversees workplace issues and stuff like that. And their he checked the work pass site, and both of the brothers were just here on an employment pass. So they're working in Singapore, but based in Russia, basically. The company made, in 2022, the financial filing showed that the company had made about $3.4 million in revenue and spent $1.6 million for the cost of sales. And after the taxes, they were left around $840,000, which also included paying both the brothers a total of $200,000 and $308,000 for travel experiences. So Mytona was basically paying for everything. Disney also found out that they didn't have any staff in Singapore because they didn't have any. There was like no. There were no financial statements to suggest that anybody was being paid in Singapore. The reason I'm saying all this is because people had this idea that people were wondering how much money did they actually make from doing all this. Was it actually a scam just to make money, or did they actually not have enough money left over to continue development? So Aloysius does all this journalism and investigating to find out that at the most that they still had, after everything was said and done, they still had 3.4 million in revenue. And it said that they, after, let's see, which came from Mytona, and it said that the balance sheet showed that they had 1.4 million cash in the bank, and they only had to take out a loan of 480,000. So at the end, they did come off with a little bit. They did have a bit of money at the end, not as much as they would have liked, I'm sure, but they still got away with a big chunk of change. And I'm pretty sure we talked about this earlier, is that they changed their name back to 8 Points on Steam, as if no
Yeah,
one
you
would
mentioned
notice.
that.
But yeah,
That's
I'm
interesting.
I was trying to, next time I pieced it together a lot better so I can follow. But yeah, hopefully people learn their lesson. If you're going to step into space, at least have something decent.
Well, are there like stipulations with their backers, their Mytona, where there's stipulations like, hey, if this game, I mean, because the game literally was out, what, 4 days, and then it was gone.
Yeah.
So
And so people are, from what I've read, I didn't see anything about that. But, you know, if Mytona is just to blame for this as they are, because you enabled all of this, you allowed all this to happen, giving them all this money. But yeah, it's just weird how these things crop up and how they get in front of us and in our hands. Because for a week, that's all people talked about. But yeah.
you said they're a mobile game. They normally do mobile games.
Yeah, they're the biggest mobile game publisher.
That's interesting too. Maybe they were intending for it to be a mobile game. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know like how much communication was lost between these two brothers and the company. If their communication was terrible between developers, it could have been worse between the people giving them money. I mean, we don't know what kind of lies were told.
Yeah.
But yeah. X, did you have anything? Did you have anything of interest this week?
So the Steam beta client. So this is coming in the future, but if you sign in the settings, if you choose to sign up for the beta client, you can test out these new features, but they will allow privating individual games instead of your entire profile, which is what they had before. So if you have those games you don't want your friends to see, then you can private individual games. And they also are changing gifting. So now, like if you want to buy multiple titles for multiple friends, you can do that with one single transaction.
Oh, okay. That's pretty
Whereas
neat.
before, you have to do individual transactions, select the friend, send it, and then go back through the process over and over again. Now you can fill up your cart with whatever, and then when you go to check out, you can select who you want each game to go to.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
That makes it a lot easier.
Two good features coming. And then the other thing I had, it was the South Park Snow Day trailer. Have you seen that?
South Park Snow Day trailer. No, I have not.
Yeah. New game coming out March 24th, 2024. It's going to be $30. I don't know if you saw any of the other South Park games or if you played any other ones like Stick of Truth and Fracture But Whole.
No, I haven't seen that either.
But the story's hilarious. But they're 2D. Those two games are 2D games, and they're like RPG turn-based kind of games.
Oh, okay.
But with the humor of South Park.
I'll see it. I might get ridiculed for this, but I'm not a South Park fan. I don't think I haven't even watched a single episode, honestly.
But the new game, the Snow Day game, is going to be 3D. It's going to be a third-person game.
Oh, okay.
It's going to focus on the, I guess, rivalry or whatever between Cartman and Kyle. the Koopa Keep versus elves. Got different maps. Characters had different abilities. There's 4-player co-op and AI bots if you don't have friends. But it looks for $30 looks pretty fun. And there's funny enough, there's a $200 special edition.
Lord.
Yeah, I guess it comes with a couple other goodies, but some of the interesting ones were like a Cartman snow globe as well as a talking toilet paper holder.
What?
I don't know why, but that's part of it.
A talking toilet paper holder.
Yes, it's like a Cartman on it. It's funny.
$200. Lord have mercy, man. I
Yeah,
don't think.
but the base game is only $30. It's just for that diehard fans.
Yeah.
From what I saw, I feel like it's a decent price for a little bit of co-op fun.
Yeah, $30. I'm all in for $30 game. Absolutely. If $70, you're gonna have to make your case for that. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. At this point, we've entered make your case. Like you're gonna have to convince me that this is worth $70. And I've seen rumors of Sony. This is just a rumor stuff I've seen on Twitter. I have not checked this. I have not fact checked this at all. And it says Sony is rumored to start breaking up games into parts. Sony was thinking about doing Spider-Man in 3 parts, doing the story, what did they say, the story, multiplayer, and all of that. I forgot what the 3rd part was, but it was going, in the end, it was end up costing like $150 because each part would be $50.
Okay.
And I'm like, that reminds me of like how they started doing films. And I remember the Harry Potter film, they broke that up into 2 parts. I'm like, man, all just to get your money. Let's stretch it out as much as possible. I do not want that practice to creep into the gaming industry.
And then the only other thing I had was Divinity Original Sin 2 is on sale. I think it's the lowest price they've ever had, $13.50. It's made by Larian. They made Baldur's Gate 3, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, much cheaper if you want to test. It's not the same combat, but gameplay's still good. It's not based on. It doesn't stick to like the 5e Dungeons and Dragons rules. So combat's different, and gameplay's a little bit different. But I think it's probably easier to get into as far as the rules than Baldur's Gate.
Oh, okay. Is there different combat options in Baldur's Gate?
What do you mean?
Like, is it possible? Does it have to be turn-based? Is there like a more action-oriented type option? Because they had this in Final Fantasy. I can't remember which one. It was the first one that they remade. But you can either do turn-based combat or you can do like action combat, which is just, a type God of War type combat, basically.
No.
Okay.
There's a lot of like that kind of goes with the Dungeons and Dragons like base. There's a lot of things that go into each turn. So there's stuff like initiative, which will determine who gets to go first. And I think it kind of break the game in a way if they try to do action.
Okay.
At least you'd have to change the economy of the skills. Like you can only use certain number of spells and aiming and all that, and the requirements for the spell, half cover, all these other little rules and stuff will be like they have to dumb it down a lot to make it feel right.
It's a lot of moving parts. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You won't be. Yeah. I don't see how it will work.
All right. I'm still gonna buy it eventually.
Oh well, maybe Santa will send you something nice for
Hopefully
Christmas.
He will. I'm waiting.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, that's all I had. Those 3.
Okay. Huey, go ahead and give us what you got. What's been going on in your corner? What's keeping you interested? What keeps you up at night? Not us, because we keep telling you to go to bed.
Okay. In gaming news that I found, so Insomniac has responded to the data breach. So they've issued a statement after they suffered a ransomware attack, which led, according to the criminal group, 98% of the data stolen after the 7-day deadline to pay the ransom was not paid, so they leaked it. They described it as extremely distressing, according to the developer. However, the only good news out of this is that the statement said the work on the leaked game Wolverine will continue as planned.
Okay.
And also ISPs are sending copyright notices to people that are acquiring and downloading a payable early build of Wolverine.
People out of their mind. Like, what is going? We just
And also, obviously, because it's an early build and it's a leak. Obviously, that's come with criticism from gamers because they they criticize. Oh, it's not finished, doesn't look good. But of course, it's early build, so it shouldn't be taken. So it shouldn't be criticized because it's early build. So
Right. If we were closer to release or something, that would make more sense to criticize. But I mean, at this point, it's so far off.
I saw
I
one
don't see why
idiot
you.
on X, formerly known as Twitter, say that he quoted Insomniac saying they were trying to go for like Hellblade level, like graphics, and then he put a Hellblade screenshot up. I'm like, bro, that's from the trailer, like fully rendered, like ready to go. You're gonna compare it to like an early build of you? Where are the brain cells?
The early builds, like they just put like a PNG on a stick character and make it walk around.
Exactly. Like gamers are borderline, like insane sometimes. It's like, are you even thinking at this point?
I just think gamers just don't understand. They just assumed if a game gets leaked or it's data, they just assume it's supposed to look like a finished article when it's not. But
yeah, they know nothing about game development. I know nothing about game development, and yet I can use my brain to say, "Oh, it's just not done yet."
Yeah, because if it's an early build, there's no chance an early build will look like a finished game. Like they wouldn't do that. And this is Insomniac as well. They haven't failed to deliver on games recently.
Exactly.
So.
Like, it's I swear.
But there is a positive that they are continuing, because I would have thought, like, because so much got leaked, I was worried that it would have been cancelled.
I don't think they would cancel.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think that would have mattered. But it does suck for them. It's a terrible thing. But I'm glad most of the gaming industry was on their side, as they should have been. Hopefully the people who leaked that get punished. You see, Rockstar sent that other guy to the hospital.
Oh my gosh, you make it sound so bad. I mean, yes, but the way like it broke his knees or something. They sent him to the hospital. Yeah, I saw that. That's wild.
Yeah. Russ said if he got out, he was just gonna start hacking again. Why would you say that?
Because he's autistic. They said he has autism, so I guarantee that's part of it.
Oh God.
He does not. He doesn't care. So.
Well, that makes sense.
Right.
By the pictures, he likes to fish, so at least let him get outside and let him go fishing, please.
Oh, I'm sure they're gonna like try to harness his potential into something for the government. I guarantee. Some agency's gonna be like, so if we could just maybe get you to do this to someone else other than us.
Lord, man was a straight menace. But yeah. Continue, Huey. Got off on a tangent.
And next topic is Call of Duty. They've announced, or the rumor is, so for the 2025 release, it will be set in a new future setting, and it will be a sequel to Black Ops 2, a direct sequel to Black Ops 2.
They're about to ruin another series.
And it will be set in the year 2030, and it's reportedly will include a feature combination of brand new multiplayer maps and remastered Black Ops 2 maps.
Here we go. Modern Warfare 3 all over again. They have at this point they have no idea how to make an original Call of Duty anymore.
I'm a bit surprised. I'm a bit surprised they took. It's been years since Black Ops 2, so.
It's been years since Modern Warfare 3, and look how.
No, I'm talking about this is like a direct sequel to the old Black Ops 2.
Oh man.
Yeah, that Black Ops 2.
I have no faith
with Menendez.
Who's developing it?
I have to check. Yeah, but what are your thoughts?
I don't care about COD anymore. Like they
not really interested in COD at this point either.
Yeah, they have had the opportunity to get me interested, but it's basically just the Walmart of FPS shooters now. It's just there. You're gonna get a COD every year. It's just a part of the cycle.
Yeah, they're gonna stop the yearly release.
Yeah. I think they need to put another developer in there so they can get, instead of 2 years for every instead of 2 years for every developer, you can have 3 years like they used to. Because didn't one of those developers pulled out, didn't they? They're no longer in the rotation. I don't know if it was Activision or Infinity Ward. I can't remember. But yeah, they need to take a good long break.
They won't. Next year is going to be Golf War the year after Black Ops 2 sequel. so I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, they'll keep riding that until IGN gives them a 1. Unfortunately.
And the next topic is the creator of God of War states that Kratos has lost his ways. So the creator, David Jeff, so he created the protagonist Kratos and he directed the original God of War and he worked as the creative director of God of War 2. He has openly criticized the direction that the God of War series has been taken. He said that the games, the reboot, so God of War and God of War Ragnarok has portrayed the protagonist Kratos as too personal and weaker compared to
I'm
previous.
so glad he no longer has anything to do with God of War. I'm sorry. This is called character development. What do you want him to do? Like literally. Like he had a son. He still fights as brutally as he always does. But did you not expect this man to learn how to be better this entire time? Like what does he want? Really? Just to be a savage, just like just a complete unhinged demon running around slashing at everything he sees? Come on now. Like at some point
that's not what he was doing. He did it with a purpose. There was a reason why he was
Yeah, he had a purpose, but this guy is acting like, like Kratos has gone softer. No, he is older. He has a son, and so there has been some development. He's more trustworthy of his friends. Yeah, I'm glad that guy he needs to stay where he's at. I heavily disagree. We need character development, and characters need to evolve as they go, not stay stagnant. But yeah, that's what actually, there's so much emotional payoff in Ragnarok because you can tell Kratos is like still working with the sins of his past, and at the end he actually, he's actually found some peace within himself. I like to see stories like that, and you can tell as he goes to the game he learns how to be a better father. Yes, those are the stories I want to see. But I also like to see like him going off, being savage, which he still does. Come on. Heavy disagree. X, what do you think? I think X is
as long as they don't go Professor Kratos, like with the Hulk, and make it so he never
Oh my
turns.
god. Why did you bring that back up?
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, you can still maintain the savagery, but in combat. But, yeah, characters need to learn something. Professor Hulk was insane. X is signing off. He's got family duties to do. He's hosting for his Christmas, so he's got a lot going on. But you may continue, Huey.
Yeah, and the final topic for this week in gaming news is actor James McCaffrey passed away early this week. So he was mainly known as the voice of Max Payne across all 3 Max Payne games, and he voiced Alice Casey in Alan Wake 2. And he passed away following the Battle of Cancer.
Dang, so his last project was Alan Wake. Well, at least he got through that.
Yeah.
And did all that while battling cancer? Dang.
Curious to know, does that affect the remakes for Max Payne 1 and 2? Or not?
I have no idea. Because was he the one working on the remakes?
I don't know. They've announced the remakes. They said the last update was it was currently in development.
I wonder if
They
he was
announced
on
it,
the
yeah.
projects.
I mean, his voice has already been used anyway, so I assume they'll just use it again.
You talking about like his AI?
No. Like since his voice has already been used in the first 2 games, I'm curious how would it work in a remake?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have no idea. Unless they can. I mean,
Usually,
there's some really talented voice actors out there. People were
No, they
worried about
can't.
Rick and Morty. When that guy got fired, I forgot his name.
I've never heard of a Max Payne sound alike or an impression of a Max Payne.
I'm pretty sure they're out there. Pretty sure.
I feel like I think they should just reuse the audio from Max Payne 1 and 2, like his voice. I think they should just reuse it.
I mean, they could, but I don't know how it would match up to his. I don't know how the syncing would work.
I don't know.
I don't know nothing about game development.
Yeah. And Alan Wake 2, they use his voice, but they use the same the guy who lent his face for Max Payne 1, Sam Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's a creative director for Remedy, but he uses his likeness, like his face, for Max Payne 1.
Okay.
So I don't know how it would work in a remake. Well, yeah, but I'm curious to see how it looks.
I'm interested in those remakes though. Like I don't think I got to really experience Max Payne when I was a kid. Most of the time, my parents wouldn't let me play stuff like that. I think I did get to play Max Payne 3, I believe. The combat was really good. But yeah, I'm all in for all these remakes, especially those.
I'm just really glad it's Remedy and it's not Rockstar doing the remake. Because they would have ruined it.
Who would have ruined it?
Rockstar, they would have done a good job.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I don't even know if Rockstar they would have, because when they did the remake of their San Andreas, didn't they contract that out to Grove Street?
Yeah, Grocery Games they worked on the definitive edition, so they worked on the entire trilogy.
Probably not best for them to contract those out anymore or trust somebody with their IP.
But since now it's been released now on Netflix Games, they actually fixed it. They fixed some of the issues that was on the trilogy definitive series, which is annoying because it's been fixed for iOS, but the issues are still on console.
Well, that sucks. Sucks for the people who are actually looking forward to a decent, was it a remake or remaster?
What, for trilogy?
Yeah.
I would call it a remaster.
Okay.
That's not a remake. That's nowhere near a remake.
Yeah, then
Nowhere
absolutely not.
near. That's more. That's definitely a remaster.
Okay. All right. Well, appreciate you guys for showing up. Thank you for getting here on time, somewhat. We will keep you guys posted. What else? What else? Happy holidays to everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed the Christmas with all of your family members. Hugh, you got any plans?
For the Christmas break,
Yeah.
and just to stay at home and relax. To be honest, or we can work for some of the days for next week.
You're not working
After
Monday,
Boxing,
are you?
no. Like after Boxing Day, which is the day. So the day after Christmas Day is Boxing Day. So the day after that is after work, and then on the Friday I have to work again.
Oh, okay. Well, at least you get a little break. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell. We'll see you guys next Monday. Peace.